Hey, everybody, it's football.
What's
It's
up? What's
here.
up?
We are here with the starter Sitshow, the first one of the year. I'm always Evan from Football Absurdity, and I'm here with Jeff. Jeff, are you excited?
I am excited. It's a day I've been waiting for a long time. It's the last day of my semifinal round in my home fantasy baseball league. That's what we're here to talk about, right?
We are not.
Oh, we're not?
We are here to talk football. I don't pay any attention to baseball at all.
But I picked up and stashed Wander Franco.
I don't know who that is. I can name three baseball players, and one of them got suspended for the year, so now I can only name
Let's
two.
see. Who I'll let me while you send everything out, I'll try to think of who the NFL equivalent of Wander Franco is. Wander Franco, so he's a young phenom. I think he's 22. He came up solid hitter. Hasn't quite set the league on fire yet. Um, some people are doubting. Hmm, probably Trevor Lawrence is, I think, a good comp for Wander Franco. A really hyped guy. Everybody thought he was going to be a big deal. He hasn't really put it all together yet, but he's shown some flashes. So I think Wander Franco is a good comp or if Trevor Lawrence is a good comp for Wander Franco. So while Evan vamps, a couple pieces of news have come through already this morning. We're starting this thing just before 8:30. 8:30 is when the official inactive reports come out. But as of right now, it looks like J.K. Dobbins is going to be inactive for Baltimore. So that include that on top of Gus Edwards being on PUP means that's going to be Kenyon Drake, according to Adam Schefter, as the quote unquote de facto
Yikes.
starter. But I mean, I don't know how much I want to particularly trust that. A guy that the Raiders cut to keep Amir Abdullah and Brandon Bolden on their team. The Packers are expected to be without Alan Lazard and David Bakhtiari today versus the Vikings. I think that hurts Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, not having David Bakhtiari hurts Aaron Rodgers, but he won an MVP without him last year. And obviously, having no wide receiver one, it just means week one Sammy, baby. Let's go.
Week one, Sammy.
Week one
I
Sammy,
had to
let's
look that
do
up
it.
when you posted it because I'm like, there's no freaking way. Sammy Watkins in week one for the last 3 years averages 27 points in PPR.
Week one Sammy, let's do it, baby.
Oh my
And
God. I
then
put him in a couple.
let's do it. And
Do
then
it and then trade him fast.
that's right. Zach Ertz listed as questionable. He's expected to play, but be on a snap count. I have him in a league. I'm starting. Well, it all depends on how the 10 a.m. games go, but I'm probably starting Gerald Everett over him. Chris Godwin, questionable to play tonight, Sunday Night Football. Don't start Chris Godwin. One of the only real viable pivots that you could have picked up, Jalen Tolbert. They're not sure if he's going to play. So you got to see if there's a Russell Gage or a Julio Jones available in your league if you want to pivot off of Chris Godwin if you don't already have like Melvin Gordon that you had on your bench. So you probably don't want to go with that today. You probably want to play it safe. I wouldn't count on having Chris Godwin until October in your lineup. And that's all I saw this morning. I went through all the news. Let me double check. I went through all the
Jeff, you
news this
just did
morning.
something that's giving you double voice.
I did nothing.
Let me just undo
I actually legitimately was not touching my computer. I was scrolling through my phone.
It's gone now, so maybe I
Okay.
undid it.
Maybe you did something that gave
Maybe
me
I just turned down
double
your
voice.
level for a second, but I'll never again. Never again.
All right. So NFL inactive report.
What's up, Servants Return? Glad you're in the chat. We love you. You make the
Oh, I
chat
can't.
happen.
I just realized I can't see the chat.
Oh, what I'm going to do, can you see my stream? Because I'm going to put the questions on the screen.
Oh, okay. That'll work. That's
Just
perfect.
leave them there with the answers. That way people don't come in and go, did you answer my question? I don't know if you answered it because I had to go to the bathroom. And so then I'll
Yeah.
be like, right there.
So I'm trying to find the inactives list for today. This was always a battle finding up-to-date ones. I remember last year. But they should be coming out in the next 4 or 5 minutes. Oh, that's right. Yahoo. I'm not Yahoo. Fantasy Pros has a good one. So first and foremost, I would say everybody needs to make sure that. Oh, one guy I forgot. Rondale Moore also ruled out. So if you were pivoting to Rondale Moore, you need to pivot off of him. Same with Michael Gallup. That's one of the reasons why I feel less good about Jalen Tolbert because the Michael Gallup factor. That's one less pivot that you can pivot to. But I guess, I mean, if you're desperate, if you're in a deep league, I guess you could go Noah Brown or Simi Fehoko, but I think it would be Noah Brown. But you're also looking at like 3 catches for 48 yards. I think it's just going to be a big CD Lamb game.
Service and Trend says, I think they ruled Tolbert as questionable right now. What's up, Rice Monkey? What's up, big boy baby guy with our first question?
So Tolbert is like, it's not an injury thing. It's he might be an active thing. He might either be the odd man out because he doesn't play special teams, which is bad, or he might be getting Trey Sermon, which is worse. So who knows? But either way, it mostly affects Chris Godwin. You shouldn't be starting Jalen Tolbert today.
So big boy baby guy wants to know Drake, London, or Dubs?
All right, so let's see. Hold on. I have to have the I almost said enemies. I'm not in streaming form right now. Let me get the opponents list up here. So Drake is going up against New Orleans. I'm sorry, London's going up against New Orleans. And then Drake is going up against the Jets, who are kind of a middle of the pack rush defense. And then Dubs is going up against the Vikings.
Aaron Rodgers is not like rookies, especially this early in the year.
No, and I was never really on the Dubs hype train. I was never on the Dubs bandwagon. I would probably go in order. I would go Drake, Dubs, London, just because London has been dealing with a knee issue, and we haven't seen him since week 1 of the preseason. Also, the Saints are a really good defense. I actually have them winning the NFC South this year. So I think that on the back of that defense. So I think it could be a situation where he gets somewhat handcuffed.
Yeah, I'm worried about London too.
I mean, we just don't know at this point. Like, I don't want to start rookies at this point if I can help it. Rookie wide receivers, because rookie wide receivers, even the really good ones, they either start strong and finish weak, or they start weak and finish strong. So it's like I don't want to figure out which one they're going to be right now.
Yes, and Decky, welcome to the chat. They want to know, they've got Connor, Gibson. Well, hold on. Let me phrase it like this. Should they slot in Juju over any of these players? Connor, Gibson, Moore, Mooney, and Nick Chubb.
So Nick Chubb should be starting out of all those guys.
The question is, do you want to slot in Juju in place of any of them?
Let's see. Not Nick Chubb. I would probably say Darnell Mooney.
That's got some bad weather.
Yeah, they're having I saw a report. It was one of those things where there's really bad drainage, I think, and it's just a sloppy mud pile.
Our people on the Discord are from Chicago are like, it is bizarre out here. It is the worst day ever.
Well, LA, it was like 115 2 days ago, and today they have like a hurricane. So I'm sorry, it's on the West Coast. They have like a tsunami.
Yeah, and everything's on fire on the West Coast. And
rules.
I'm in the circus in Reno. I'm looking out my window, and there's a hot air balloon race. I would not want to be in a hot air balloon when there's fire everywhere, and you can't breathe. Like,
you want aerial fire, and then you can contribute more aerial fire to the situation.
True. All right.
So just FYI, I will be muting and coughing myself. I had COVID a few weeks ago, and I'm over it, but I still have a cough. So if I have to stop and mute, that's why. Just heads up.
Okay, so Rice Monkey has a question that's a little hard to parse. Let's see. Let me try and thin it out. Whom would you flex in PPR? Kareem Hunt, Gibson, Metcalf. Yeah. Whom would you flex in PPR? Hunt, Gibson, or Metcalf?
So let's see. Hunt's taking on Carolina. Gibson is taking on Jacksonville. And then obviously DK Metcalf's taking on the Broncos in the big Russ game. Out of those three, I would probably go Gibson. The Jags are like they picked first in the last 2 drafts. Like, if you're going to pick on a team, I would pick on the team that was terrible the last 2 drafts. Granted, they've gotten some better players. They've gotten, they drafted 2 linebackers and Travon Walker. So their defense should be better. But I also just, I would probably go in order. I would go Gibson, Metcalf, Hunt.
Oh, you don't like Hunt in PPR?
I just don't know what this Browns offense is going to look like. Like, it could be a situation where Nick Chubb runs the ball 25 times, and then Kareem Hunt gets like 4 targets. Like, there's a lot of situations just up in the air that if I can help it, I'm staying away from them week 1. And then one of the things with week 1 is you have to be a little bit more cautious and know what you know. And then if you have a guy go off on your bench, like, that's a data point. Like, okay, so I have this guy go off on my bench. Why did he go off on my bench? Is he likely to go off next week? Or is it a situation where, like, TJ Hawkinson last year was a perfect example. He got like 60 yards in garbage time against the Niners. And then that was his only good game of the year last year in week 1. So I'm more cautious week 1 than I am the rest of the year. Granted, one disclaimer. If you went up against Josh Allen, if you went up against Stephon Diggs, if you went up against Cooper Kupp, just swing for the fences. There's almost no downside because you're probably going to lose this week. I have a guy in my home league has Josh Allen, Cooper Kupp, and Justin Jefferson. I'm glad I'm not playing him this week.
I have to start Kareem Hunt in my big money league, but it is 14 teams, so I don't mind flexing.
Yeah,
there.
Yeah, I have a 16 team league that I'm doing this year, and I would love to have Kareem Hunt. I'm starting Antonio Gibson in that league.
What happened to all my questions? Sorry about this, people. It's our first day.
Yeah, we're trying a new thing where it's a lot. Twitch learned from StreamYard, where instead of Evan having to do all the processing on his side, he can drag me in, but we're still learning the ins and outs of it.
Yes, we should probably talk about that while I put up the questions again.
In that league where I'm starting Antonio Gibson, you'll never guess who's in my flex. Kareem Hunt.
So we are doing something that they just invented, Twitch just invented. Well, as Jeff pointed out, they just borrowed. Where in the past, if you wanted to have 2 cameras like we have now, you'd have to use a third-party software like Skype or Zoom or Discord or whatever. But now they've made it, they're testing this thing called Guest Star, where we don't have a third-party thing going right now, and Jeff can be on there. It's in the alpha stage, so you can't get it quite yet.
We're special.
Yeah, but we are testing it today. So that's what we're doing.
One thing while Evan gets that going, if you have a simple starter sick question, I would recommend you can also if you go to our website, footballabsurdity.com. Walker Kelly does their ranks every week. It has not been updated for today because Walker's currently on their way to the Lions game. But if you go to the top, there's a weekly ranks button that you can click, and you can just get top 25 quarterbacks, top 25 tight ends, top 50 wide receivers, top 50 running backs. So if you just have a simple question, and you just want the answer, you can check it out there. If you want more like reasoning why, then stick around and ask your questions.
Yes, and Big Boy Baby Guy wants to know Chase Claypool or Robbie Anderson.
Oh, Chase Claypool. Robbie Anderson is butt. Robbie Anderson had some like. If you're going with Robbie Anderson, it's a glory play, and you don't want to do glory plays in week 1. Like, he could go off. He could also get 2 targets for 13 yards. Robbie Anderson's a deep threat guy. Baker's not the best. Like, he's a better deep ball thrower than a lot of people give him credit for, but he's not like, he's not like a Matthew Stafford or, where he's going to make a difference for the guys downfield. Let's not forget his team jettisoned him. So yes, he's better than Sam Darnold, but how much better than Sam Darnold is he going to be? Just an idea for next week, Evan. Don't we have a ticker software that we could dump this into, or is that not working with the new? Okay, I wasn't sure what works with the new stuff for Twitch and what doesn't. So, let's see. So Claypool Anderson. So more questions on the stream while Evan's trying to make this work. We appreciate you guys sticking around. This is our first time using this, so we are testing it out for Twitch.
Alpha
so there are
stages. Not even beta yet.
We are bug testing this. So if there's some issues, it's because Twitch said, "Hey, find the issues."
So start 2 PPR: Breece Hall, Dameon Pierce, Kadarius Toney, Ramondre Stevenson.
Oh my God! Oh man. Let me see who they're going up against. So Jets are going up against the Ravens.
And that's Damian. We're sure that's Damian Pierce, right? Not Alec Pierce.
I am
I
not
asked
sure.
because this
Oh, it
looks
is.
like a deep.
No, you're right. It is Damian Pierce.
Okay, so Damian Pierce is going up against the Colts. Kadarius Toney going up against the Titans. Ramondre going up against the Dolphins. I would probably go. So if you just need some points, like if you just need some points, I would probably go Brees Hall. Brees Hall is definitely the best player of that group.
It's choose
Ramondre.
two also. It's choose two.
Start two. Okay, so you probably want to go with Brees Hall and Kadarius Toney. I don't think Damian Pierce is going to do very well today. The Colts are one of the best run defenses in the league. They'll be without Shaq Leonard, who, if you go, who the hell is Shaq Leonard? He changed his name from Darius Leonard last year, who is a name you should know if you know football. But right now, Pierce is just a 2-down banger. And I don't want a 2-down banger in a game where they're likely to be down big fast, because they're going to be throwing the ball, and that's going to be Rex Burkhead and Dario Gumbawale. Walker, again, not to just keep repeating what Walker said, but Walker found a stat that we spent all offseason arguing about whether Ken Walker can catch a football or not, because Ken Walker didn't get used in college that way. And Ken Walker had a higher target rate or higher target share in college than Damian Pierce. So he's not going to catch passes, guys. So I would go Hall, Toney, Ramondre, Pierce. If you just need some points, I would go Hall, Ramondre. Toney is the biggest boom bust of this group, I would say. The Titans were the worst in the league against defending wide receivers last year. And they got Roger McCreary, who's really good, but I'm not quite sure what they're going to do with him yet. He's a second-round cornerback out of, I want to say, Auburn. It's kind of a small guy. They keep saying they're going to put him in the slot because slot was where they were the worst last year, and Toney's going to probably line up outside. But all they have to do is just put him outside on Toney, and then it's Wan'Dale Robinson season. Because he's kind of a small guy. So, you think small guy, like he's like 5'10", 195 or something. You think small, you think that's a slot receiver. Well, he only played like 10% of his snaps in the slot in college. So Toney's the biggest boom bust, I would say, because all they have to do is go, okay, we're going to put McCreary on Toney instead of having him in the slot. And then Toney could have 3 catches for 45 yards, or he could have 10 catches for 190 yards or whatever he had against the Cowboys last year.
Awesome. This one I think even I could answer. Rashad Bateman or DK Metcalf?
Well, then answer it.
Rashad Bateman is one of the only 2 people that are still healthy on that team. So, yeah. I would go with him.
Like even the Ravens, when they didn't throw the ball a lot, still threw the ball like 25 times, 30 times. And so, I mean, Mark Andrews isn't getting 30 targets. Isaiah Likely isn't getting as many targets as people think. I mean, Isaiah Likely could get 6 targets today, but that's more out of necessity.
And we have a Superflex question. Baker or Tua in the Superflex?
Okay, so that changes things, because I was going to say throw up in your mouth instead. Baker versus Tua. That's an interesting one.
While
so
you
Baker,
think about it, right, Smokey? I don't feel bad mentioning anybody who's got Geno Smith trying to target him. Ever. Yeah. I mean, granted. Geno did lock into DK Metcalf last year. Don't do split stats though. People keep doing split stats with Geno, and DK Metcalf. The game that Geno came in when Russ got hurt, Geno already had like 80 yards and a touchdown, I think, when Geno came in. So, or he at least had a touchdown. I don't know the yardage total. So, that kind of messes things up. And I would go Tua, just because we do this thing with Baker, and Baker's my quarterback 3 in pretty much all my redraft Superflex leagues this year. Because he's going to start all 17 games, and he's been a quarterback 1 or 2 in 75% of his games in his career. So I know it's like, oh, that's not that much. Well, it's like, it's Superflex. That's what you want, a quarterback 1 or 2. Tua versus the Patriots. Mike McDaniel has so many ways to hurt you. If he's 75% of Kyle Shanahan, he has so many ways to hurt you. And Bill Belichick loves to take one thing away. And it's like, okay, so he takes away Tyreek Hill. There's still Chase Edmonds there to catch passes. There's still Mike Gesicki, who eventually Mike McDaniel will pull his head out of his ass and stop trying to make him block.
There's still Jalen Waddle still there. We forgot about Jalen Waddle. So I think that Tua versus Baker, I think that that's a Tua game today.
But the Baker revenge game.
Yeah.
So keep the questions coming. I believe we've caught up with questions. If I missed yours, please give us a poke, and I will put it on here. Let's look at leagues. Everyone, did you start your lineups, Jeff?
I'm looking at it right now. I'm double checking.
I'm not sure I did because I was too busy doing this all the time this weekend.
I know. This is why I love Sleeper. Sleeper is great because it has a sidebar. So I literally just click down my leagues instead of having to like go click in.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Ooh, boy. I am starting Trey Lance in this league, but it's super. Oh, my God. I'm going to lose this week in this league. I have Trey Lance and Justin Fields. So good luck. Good luck to me in the monsoon. Let's see. Jalen Hurts, Aaron Jones, Antonio Gibson. Oh, this is Scott Fishbowl. My Scott Fishbowl lineup is set. My somethingawful.com all spelled out. Dynasty League, that's all set. It was weird. Nobody wanted any of my. I had 3 first-round picks this year. That's the league we're in. And nobody wanted them. And I'm trying to trade the players that I got with them, and I can't trade them either.
It's not a good year for rookies.
No, it's not. Like, I had 3 first-round picks, and I ended up with I could feel good about this in a year, but I started with George Pickens, Garrett Wilson, and Christian Watson, none of which I'm playing today. I'm not starting any of my first-round picks because I have Mike Evans, Mike Williams, and Brandon Cooks. Let's see. So let's see here. Oh, this is best ball. I don't have to deal with that.
So, welcome to the chat, AK Magic. They want to know PPR, Michael Thomas or Darnell Mooney. I think we're benching Mooney kind of across the board this week simply because of the monsoon.
Yeah, go check the Chicago weather. Let me see if I can find that tweet. Is it possible for me to share my screen?
Try it. We're going off that book here because we're doing a new thing. There's a new Twitch plugin called, well, it's not even a plugin anymore, called Guest Star. And Jeff, it allows you to have Jeff on screen and me on screen without using a third-party caller.
Let me see if I can share my screen. Hold on.
Yeah.
I've got a report. Nope, I cannot. Everybody go here. Everybody go to Stacey Dales on Twitter, STACEY. She report up about a half hour ago. It is gnarly there. She was already like squishing into the mud, and that was a half hour before. That was a half hour ago, so that was almost 2 hours before kickoff. I'm sitting all Niners and Bears if I can help it, except for the running game, and that does include Trey Lance. Let's go, Trey Lance, baby.
A lot of people in our Discord are saying that Joe Flacco tends to feed Elijah Moore. Agree? Or
How would they know that?
Yeah, that's fair.
Joe Flacco doesn't tend to do anything on the Jets. Like, sure, he fed Elijah Moore last year, but his other options were like Corey Davis. Like, Garrett Wilson's there now. And let's see, game log. So he started 1 game last year. Let's see, 42 pass attempts. Let's see, 24. So he started a game, threw the ball 39 times, and Elijah Moore had 11 of them.
Perfect.
So
we only need 1 data point.
Yeah, but also Jamison Crowder had 7 and Corey Davis had 7. So I guess a first among equals, but also it's who are they playing today? The Ravens?
Yep.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck. That could be the best secondary in the NFL. Like, good luck. Good luck, Joe Flacco. Throw the ball to Elijah Moore as much as you want. I'm mad at the NFL, by the way, for letting them get Kyle Hamilton. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. They got Hamilton and Linderbaum.
Yeah, we do.
I forgot you've forsaken the Raiders for the Ravens.
Yep. I'm a team now. Whom did you pick in our Survivor League?
Hey, can you throw me a link to the Survivor League?
Oh, good call.
I forgot to do it.
I'll put it in Twitter and I'll send it to you via whatever.
Okay, but looking at it right now, I will probably throw down. I'm trying to stay away from a game that's just like gets wiped out. Like I think it was 2 years ago or last year where it was like half the league got wiped out on the Jags in week
That was 2
one.
years ago because the Jags beat Indianapolis.
Yeah, I'm gonna go probably Tennessee at New York.
Joe, welcome to the chat. We love you too.
I don't see any reason why Tennessee would lose this one, especially with a healthy Derrick Henry. And Kayvon Thibodeau is not playing today for the Giants. So that's who I'll go in our survivor pick.
I also picked Tennessee.
Yeah, because I want to stay away from. Okay, so here's my thought process. I don't want divisional games if I can help it. So that knocks out New Orleans, Atlanta, Pittsburgh, Cincy, New England, Miami, Indy, Houston, Green Bay, Minnesota, Vegas, Chargers. So that's 6 games right there. And out of the 15 that are yet to go. And then I don't want games with weird situations. So Niners, Bears, I don't want. Philly, Detroit, I guess I could take as a secondary option. Baltimore, New York, I don't know what the hell is going on there. Jacksonville, Washington, 2 bad teams. I don't want to take that. Cleveland, Carolina, 2 bad teams with a weird situation. Kansas City, Arizona. I mean, that has shootout written all over it. So I don't want to take a shootout because then things could just bounce funny. Tampa Bay, Dallas. I have no idea what's going on with Tampa Bay's offensive line. I have no idea what's going on with Dallas's offense, period. And then Denver, Seattle. Russ could choke it up in his first game back. So I will go with the Tennessee Titans. Did you send me a link to the?
Yeah, it's in both the Twitch chat and our group Gmail chat, whatever that's called now.
Oh, the G chat. Okay, everybody, look at the top of my hat. While I sign in, Pierre Strong is inactive today. Oh, inactive reports are out. Okay, let me pick my survivor pick real quick, and then we'll look at how do I pick survivors. I'm a survivor. I know everybody thought that Beyonce was on the chat for a second. All right, let me refresh the inactives report. All right, we've got some inactives. So let's see, New Orleans and Atlanta. Oh, this is interesting. A guy that I was a big fan of all offseason, Tyler Algier. Tyler Algier is inactive today, running back for the Falcons. So that's not good for my hashtag takes. He's inactive for the Falcons. For the Saints, Traquan Smith, Dwayne Washington are the only fantasy relevant guys. Unless you're in a 3 tight end league, and then Nick Van Ette's ineligible or not playing today. Jeremy Ruckert, Denzel Mims, Zach Wilson are all inactive for the Jets. Nothing out of the norm there. Marcus Peters, cornerback, and J.K. Dobbins inactive for the Ravens. Kind of what we expected. For the Steelers, Mason Rudolph inactive. He had a precipitous drop. Devin Asiasi inactive for the Bengals. Kind of expected that. Travion Williams, same thing. Miami and New England. Pierre Strong is inactive, which is kind of interesting given their running back situation there. For the Dolphins, Salvin Ahmed is inactive. Eric Ezukanma is inactive, which is actually kind of interesting because Eric Ezukanma was a preseason darling, and so I thought he might make his way onto the field today, but I guess not. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I just burped into the mic. Sorry, I'm picking my survivor team before I forget. All right. For the Jags, Snoop Connor is inactive. That is huge. Snoop Connor being inactive is wild because James Robinson is coming off of the Achilles tear. And they're if something happens to James Robinson, they're given no wiggle room for it. Get that out of here. I'm not answering Koo versus Prater. Whichever is projected for higher. I don't care. Go check out Lindelians on Twitter for all your kicker stuff. Snoop Connor, inactive. So Niners, Bears. George Kittle is officially inactive. He is not playing today. Same with Tyrion Davis-Price, Niners third-round running back. So if you want to take a shot on a Niners running back, the depth guy that comes out of nowhere, I guess you're going with Jordan Mason today.
Danny Gray is inactive, which makes sense. There's no reason to have Danny Gray playing in this log. For Chicago, Velus Jones is inactive. That doesn't mean anything. He's been dealing with injuries. For Cleveland and Carolina, Laviska Shenault is inactive. Dearness Johnson is inactive. Nothing too big. Nothing really for Indy, Houston, except we've already talked about Shaq Leonard is inactive. For Philly and Detroit, Trey Sermon is inactive. Ian Book is inactive. So those are all the early games. Nothing too crazy. Nothing too out of control. Tyler Algier thing kind of shocked me, but that's just me. There's no like Trey Sermon week 1 last year. Like, remember that?
Yeah.
Where everybody was just like, oh my God, and lost their minds. It's pretty much what we expected. Which means actually, so since we're week 1's here, I have to say, the only real stud injury that we're dealing with right now is George Kittle. And it's, I believe, a hamstring issue. And so, or it's a groin. It's his groin. And so, it's one of those things where we kind of got through preseason without any major injuries, unlike last year. So I don't have to knock on wood. The regular season's here.
That's true. Welcome to the chat, PJ August. They want to know AJ. Green.
Oh, what's up, Pete? What's up, Pete?
Is that who that is?
That's my buddy Pete.
Oh, cool. AJ Green or Devontae Parker?
I would say ideally you're going with neither. But I would say if you have to start a guy, I would probably go with AJ Green with no Rondale Moore playing. With Zach Ertz banged up, he's probably going to get 6 or 7 targets today. Devontae Parker, I don't know what New England's offense is going to look like. I got a Patriots fan all mad at me last night on Twitter because I asked, has there been any positive news about the Patriots offense this offseason? And I haven't heard one. I haven't heard one iota of news except for like some quarterback guy was like, Mac Jones will throw better this year. Like, okay, cool.
And Joe points out that Parker's going to be lining up against Miami cornerbacks who aren't too shabby.
Yeah, and then that was the Miami defense is pretty good. They've got a good secondary. So I would go AJ Green.
Awesome. I think we're all caught up with questions. Again, if I AK Magic points out Miami actually is out Byron Jones, so they only have one good cornerback.
Did I miss that in the inactive report? Hold on. Please hold. Byron Jones. Is he a pup or something? Because I don't remember seeing him. Byron. Right. I will never call it NBC Sports Edge. It's still Roto World. Byron Jones. Oh, he's on pup. I completely missed that. Okay. Well, I still don't trust the Patriots offense. Also, if you had to pick one of those games to be a shootout, would you pick Arizona, KC, or Miami, New England?
Yes, Arizona, KC.
Yeah, exactly.
Hollywood. I fully love that because one of the things I do in our Discord is I predict Discord darlings. I've franchised it out this year, so there's 5. And I like the ones with soft week 1 matchups because then I can take a victory lap and then never talk about it again.
That's right.
See Dallas Goedert 2 years ago. He totally came through for that one game.
That's me hoping Darrell Henderson wins the Super Millions jackpot and is just never seen from again, because then I can just take that victory lap that I was correct on Darrell Henderson versus Cam Akers.
Would you rather Godwin, Tony, or Treylon?
I'm not starting Chris Godwin today. I'm not relying on that, especially because if your other options are Treylon Burks, they're going to play against each other before Chris Godwin even sees the field. And the reports are that Godwin's probably going to be inactive, but he's going to be on a snap count. So I'm hearing myself. So it's throwing me off. Sorry.
My computer hiccuped there. Sorry, people.
No worries. All right. So I would probably go Kadarius Toney in this situation. Treylon Burks, we just don't know. Like, there hasn't been any really good feelings until the 3rd preseason game with Treylon Burks. But it's not a good decision to have it to need to be making today. I'm just going to roll with the Kadarius Toney here. While he's healthy, why not?
Nice. And we got some more questions. Thanks for sending in questions. PPR, pick one. Juju or Antonio Gibson?
I'm going to turn this one over to you, Evan, because the podcast is irrationally high on Antonio or on Juju Smith-Schuster. So I'm going to ask what you think here, because I've been getting geeked up by Walker and Mike about Juju, because we did our composite ranks, and Walker and I had him 16th, and we went to Fantasy Pros and checked it out, and the industry high on Fantasy Pros was 17th. So we were literally higher than everybody. So in that case, I would go Juju. But I'm curious what you think, Evan. Antonio Gibson versus Jacksonville. Would you still go Juju?
PPR makes it a tough thing there.
Oh, PPR? Juju. Okay. I didn't see that it was PPR. Full PPR, Juju's going to get a ton of targets.
The Arizona Cardinals are horrible at cornerback.
They're horrible at a lot of
stuff. I'm hoping my Hollywood darling pays off there.
Hollywood should be good.
I staked my reputation on it, so we'll see.
I staked mine on Cam Akers not being the starter, so I'm already 1-0.
Would you vamp? I have something with my kid's health here.
I'm vamping. Blah blah. This is me being a vampire. So let's talk about Thursday Night Football. While we're waiting for questions to come in. So Thursday Night Football was a weird game. So the Rams have some deficiencies along their offensive line. Obviously, Andrew Whitworth retired. They moved Joe Noteboom over, but Joe Noteboom got hurt during the game. And if you saw, it was a situation where Matthew Stafford had almost no chances to throw the ball. So that obviously affected Allen Robinson, who they got onto their roster to run these more downfield routes. And those didn't have time to develop. It was snap and then boom, the Bills defensive line, which is incredible. They're so good. They were in Matthew Stafford's lap right away. So that's why you saw in the second half a lot more like quick strikes. That's why, Tyler Higbee got, I think, 11 targets, and Cooper Kupp. And that's why Ben Skoranek got a bunch of targets, because they were getting the short, quick hitters. So I'm not worried about Allen Robinson. That was just a situation where the Bills' best part of their defense just obliterated the Rams' defensive line or offensive line. Especially not worried because this week they play the Falcons. This week being week 2, so I guess next week they play the Falcons. So if you want to get right game, you want to get right game against Atlanta. So I think Allen Robinson will have a big game in week 2. As for the Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson thing, it's fun for me to victory lap, but I think Cam Akers just isn't as far back from his soft tissue injury as Darrell Henderson was. There are some causes for concern if you're a Cam Akers fan, because 3 carries, 0 yards. I went viral. I went viral pointing out that he had the same number of yards as Queen Elizabeth.
Any former queen, really.
84. Everybody. He had more yards than everybody. Or the same number of yards as everybody. And Darrell Henderson, he didn't look good carry to carry. So carry to carry didn't look great, but a lot of that had to do with what I was talking about with the Rams offensive line just getting obliterated by the Bills defensive line. And when he had some space to run, he looked good. He looked, I don't want to say Marshawn Lynch, but he looked like that type of runner where he would just accelerate out of nowhere. He would take on contact. He would go through the contact. Not quite Marshawn Lynch level, but he looked good when he had the football in his hands and he had room to operate. And you can't say the same about Cam Akers. Cam Akers had a gutsy move where Matthew Stafford left him out to dry, giving him a lateral 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage and just being like, good luck, buddy, because Matthew Stafford was about to get sacked. And Akers was lucky to just get back to the line of scrimmage on that one. But his first carry, he got just a defensive lineman got one arm on him, and he just kind of just all right, this is where I stop. He didn't, he was going at the line. There was a hole he was trying to hit, but instead of cutting and hitting the hole, he just kind of angled his way towards it. The difference between somebody who plays Madden really well and somebody who just kind of plays Madden, the guy who plays Madden really well is going to jump cut to that hole, or the guy that kind of knows Madden is just going to angle his guy to the hole. And that's what Cam Akers did. He just kind of angled himself to the hole. And That's not good. That's the type of thing that got that gets running backs cut, and that's not great. So one good, one bad for Cam Akers, and then the other one he got blown up in the backfield. He had no chance.
AK Dim Magic wants to know, will the 49ers give his Dolphins a high first rounder this year?
I wouldn't count on it, buddy. Is 32 high?
No. I heard somebody yesterday predicting the 49ers to win their division.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, the Rams, especially after that showing on Thursday Night Football, like it's not going to be the Seahawks. It's not going to be the Cardinals. It's either going to be the Niners or the Rams, and the Rams got their teeth kicked in their first game. So when you're talking a division win, it's like, getting your teeth kicked in to start in a competitive division like Niners and Rams are supposed to be.
I could see people taking the Niners. I still think it's going to – oh, that's right. I forgot. I went full homer. I think I have the Niners winning the NFC West.
It's not a bad pick. Arizona's got problems.
Seattle
needs to tank or they're stupid.
Yeah. That's why they need to start Drew Lock instead of Geno Smith. Geno Smith will get him like 5 wins. Drew Lock will get him 2.
I am in the Seattle area. Usually right now I'm in Reno, but I'm in the Seattle area and having to listen to AM radio where they debate who's a better herd slinger between Geno and Locke is really hard because they both are horrible. All right, Eli Mitchell, Drake, or Sony Michel. He's still here.
Okay, first of all, don't start Sony Michel. Sony Michel is in. He's with the Chargers.
What the hell?
Are you all right?
Sony Michel. Like, don't roster him. I don't get it.
Yeah, don't roster him unless you're in a very deep league. What was the rest of the questions?
Mitchell versus Drake.
Eli Mitchell versus Eli Mitchell. Easy.
Yeah. Drake was cut by the Raiders, and they'll take anybody. All right. So, what game are you most looking forward to today, besides your home team?
I think the game of the day is Chargers Raiders.
Yes, the revenge game for the Chargers missing the playoffs through their own buffoonery.
Which is stupid. I wish their obsession with Tom Brady and the Dallas Cowboys would stop, so that would have been a perfect Sunday night football game. But as of right now, it's jammed into 125. So there's going to be parts of the country that are going to get like New York, Tennessee. Actually, no, it's Fox and CBS. Never mind. They're going to get Kansas City, Arizona, which I guess is a decent game in its own right. But like Vegas Chargers is the game that I'm looking to see because the AFC West is going to be super competitive. We forget the Chargers got Khalil Mack, who's not who he was, but he's still a really good pass rusher. Raiders obviously got Devontae Adams. Chargers got J.C. Jackson, but it doesn't look like he's playing today. It's an arms race. And they were the two teams that kind of geared up the most, other than getting Russell Wilson in Denver.
We had a clarification. It wasn't Kenyon Drake. It was Drake London. So Eli Mitchell or Drake London?
Eli Mitchell. These Mud Bowl games are going to benefit the running backs, because think about like if you're running in mud and you know where you want to go, you can do that a lot better than running in mud and trying to react to what somebody else is doing. If that makes sense.
Yes.
So, all right, we have a cameo here. My dogs are outside, but my cat decided to come in. Hello, cat. Everybody say hello to the cat.
Hello, cat. All right, I think we're all caught up with questions, so feel free to hit us with more questions. AK Magic wants to know, how do you feel about a 12-person full PPR league with a team of Lamar, Henry, Aaron Jones, Mike Evans, Mike Williams, A-Rob, with Hopkins, Olave, Burks, AJ? You just want us to call them your team, AK Magic. It's a great team.
It's at least a top 12 team.
Yeah.
If somebody asks me to rate their team and it's like that, I just tell them it's at least top however many teams are in the league.
Yeah, Serpent to Turn points out, like, how much is Wally going to talk about David Montgomery after this week when he gets like 40 carries?
You mean Khalil Herbert?
Huh?
Khalil Herbert, I think, is going to be the big surprise coming out of that game.
How come?
Well, because people don't really expect Khalil Herbert to get a lot of touches. We had Heath Cummings on the podcast, and he was talking about how Luke Getsy loves to run a lot, and that David Montgomery's kind of maxed out in rush attempts, and that Khalil Herbert could be looking at a lot more rushing this year. So I think that it's going to be a surprising, like Khalil Herbert's going to be like probably, if nobody gets hurt this week, he'll probably be the like second pickup.
Interesting. AK Magic says, I'm seriously asking because my platform is projecting a dead last finish for that team. First of all,
platform projections are garbage.
Name the platform. We're not beholden to any corporate things. We can bash whoever. And yeah, the anecdote I keep relating is a few years ago in Yahoo, my close friend Hobo Stu was predicted to go 1-13, and every single week he projected him to lose, and he started 10-0. So
yeah, the projections are not great. Sorry, I have to sit back now because I have the cat in my lap. So here, let me lounge. Let me go cat cam. There we go. Cat cam.
Cat cam, cat jam. What else is going on here?
I reorganized how I do my streams because I was gonna have dog cam, but they were being nightmares. So
they saw a cat.
Yes, the dogs are being nightmares. I had to put them outside. For people who watched last year, I have a second dog now.
Oh, what?
Yeah, we got a puppy in May. Full pit bull, gray puppy. She's the sweetest little dog.
I honestly don't think I've talked to you in like 6 months. Except for work shit. Like,
here, let's do this while we're waiting for questions to come in. Let me go let the dogs in.
Okay. They should be calmed down now. I'll be right back. You have to vamp.
All right. MP3 or 20. Let's see here. Let me predict what Jeff is going to say. First, I'll say what I would do, which is MG3, because he's one of my darlings. I think he's going to get a lot of carries till he breaks down, and then the Javonte owners will be happy. And Kadarius Toney, I don't know if he get jammed up, but I bet Jeff will say Toney. Oh, no. Or Ramondre. Well, that's key. Now I got to think about Ramondre. Probably not Ramondre, because I don't know. Miami out for blood. And I don't know. You got three good questions there. I bet you Jeff will say Toney. I would do MD3 because I'm sold on him right now. And Jeff's gonna have puppy pigs. Yeah, we should have puppy pigs. I wish that this platform we're using, Twitch Guest Star, which is in its alpha testing stages, would let me allow Jeff to share his screen. I'm not sure why it won't. Well, it's because it's in the alpha. I'll tell them that, and they'll add it to the next build, I bet. So there's that. What else is going on? California is on fire, apparently, every time I look out my window. And
the damn puppy has damn muddy paws. I didn't notice till she was in the house. So now I've got mud all over my house.
I'm so sorry.
All over me. It's okay.
MG, half PPR. Gordon, Toney, or Ramondre?
Gordon, Toney, or Ramondre? I would go that order.
Oh, okay. I said you would say Toney, but I said Gordon. So yeah,
I'm a big Melvin Gordon fan.
I've practically staked my reputation on him and 4 other guys, just in terms of returning more than he was drafted.
Yeah.
Hey Marshall, thanks for posting a question from our Discord.
Here's Dog Cam.
Half PPR, pick 2: St. Brown, Kirk, CEH, or Dylan.
St. Brown, who? CEH or Dylan?
Kirk.
Half PPR?
Yep.
Oh, it's up here on the screen. Okay.
I'm just going to pencil in Dylan, first of all.
I would, yeah, Dylan. Dylan is a yes. I'm trying to decide between St. Brown and Kirk. I'll go Kirk just because I believe in the Eagles defense more than I believe in the Washington defense. Trying to get the dog was probably the dumbest thing that I've done today. Because now she's trying to play with the big dog in the background.
Also, Jacksonville brass, I could see being like, we have to throw it to Kirk because we paid a lot of money for them because they're not actually trying to win football games because they don't understand what they're doing.
You're
So-
saying that Trent Baalke would do something stupid?
So stupid.
Oh God, she got mud on my face.
Chat likes Amon-Ra St. Brown over Kirk.
Fine, I got no problem with that.
Yeah, it's close enough.
I think they're both gonna be looking at very similar target loads. I think you're both looking at 8 or 9 targets for both of them. Is that coming up on the mic? My dog yapping
Yes.
at the other one. Okay,
Yes, but it's
I'm going to let them out again. So,
Okay. It's not too annoying, honestly.
all right. Well, then we can have dog cam in the background. There we go. Dog cam. They're doing chaos. I think she got mud on her side. I think that's the problem. Jesus Christ, this dog. This dog. Too much energy.
Would
There
you
we
drop Russell Gage to Jordan Mason?
I guess if you don't need Russell Gage, sure. Russell Gage is I've diagnosed something in fantasy football called Russell Gage disease, which is where a player gets just enough usage to like finish the year as like wide receiver like 32, but they never really finish in the top 36 reliably. It's just that they play all year, and that's Russell Gage. Like Russell Gage is the classic like 70 catches, 750 yards, and 6 touchdowns guy who plays all year but doesn't really do much to help your team. Whereas Jordan Mason, I mean, you could just drop Jordan Mason if after this game doesn't work. He's a lottery ticket. So if you don't need Russell Gage, then I would go with Jordan Mason. But if you need Russell Gage, if you feel like you need him, don't go trying to snag lottery tickets like that. It's week 1.
Especially like Kyle Shanahan running back lottery tickets.
I mean, we saw it last year with Elijah Mitchell. I think people are they're copying and pasting that narrative onto Jordan Mason.
Hey, Tony, welcome to the chat. He wants to know over under Saquon rushing yards, 55.5.
Over. That's the line?
Yeah, that's kind of a ridiculous line.
That's the line? 55.5?
Apparently.
Holy crap. Yeah,
Or-
way over.
For more abusable lines, check out Gambling for Cheapskates. I think that's what it's called. What's our show called on Saturday?
I think it's gambling absurdity and DFS for cheapskates.
DFS for Cheapskates and Gambling Absurdity. Wow, you did 2 shows yesterday. Nice job. Check that out on Saturdays on this channel.
Here,
So,
everybody check out my dog.
hooray. Tony says
That's
we were
what they do
all
all
over
day.
it on the show yesterday. Yeah, as you should.
Yeah. 55.5 yards? Jesus Christ.
Who are the Giants playing?
The Titans.
Oh, and they're going to get their ass handed to them. So maybe they're thinking that they'll abandon the run?
Um,
To do what,
maybe,
though? Throw it to Tony?
but sorry, I had to answer a starter sit question for my sister. Tyler Lockett or Ramondre Stevenson? Ramondre.
All right. Welcome to the chat, ready or not. They want to know half PPR, Elijah Moore or Rashad Bateman.
Bateman, easy.
Yep.
Sorry, I forgot I was on camera and I was yawning.
Everyone's out in Baltimore's running game. So there's no Hollywood, obviously. There's no J.K. Dobbins. There's no Gus Bus. Kenyon Drake, the shambling corpse of him, is going to be running the ball every time they throw it. It's going to be Lamar Jackson. And he has to throw the ball somewhere, and he can't throw it to Mark Andrews every time.
So here's my thing too with Mark Andrews is sorry, I was putting it on puppy cam. The Ravens threw the ball a lot last year, and obviously Mark Andrews was the beneficiary of that. So people think that Mark Andrews has got this like bigger role in the passing game last year. He didn't. He had the same role. If you look at air yard share and target share, he had the same role. He was just there was more passes to go around. So I think the Ravens actually kind of might see Mark Andrews as potentially maxed out, maybe an extra 1 or 2 targets per game compared to last year. But that means that it's all going to Rashad Bateman because it's not going to James Proche or Devin Duvernay. Although if you want to take a flyer on somebody, I guess Devin Duvernay is not bad. Isaiah Likely got some pop in the preseason. He's still a rookie tight end. I picked him up in a couple leagues, but they're like I picked him up in like Scott Fishbowl, which is tight end premium. And I picked him up in like the 16-team league. I picked him up, but Isaiah Likely's probably not likely to make a huge difference, especially for fantasy teams this year.
And someone wants to know, do you think Elijah Moore is good for $5,100 in DFS? And I personally defer to Tony, who does our DFS show, who says yes.
Okay, perfect.
I mean, it's $5,100. That's nothing, right?
Is that FanDuel or DraftKings?
That's a good question.
Let me see.
AK Magic points out the Ravens threw 600 times last year, and they usually throw it in the mid 400s range.
Yeah, I talked about that on the podcast this week, where what we do on the podcast is like our one big question for each game. And my big question for the Ravens game was how much do they throw? Because I believe they were 440 and 404 the 2 years before, and then they were 611 last year, and a lot of that was when Lamar Jackson was hurt. So let me see. I'm in FanDuel. Let me see if Elijah. So Elijah is 6,000 there. So it's on DraftKings. So I'll defer to Tony because I don't play on DraftKings.
And I don't play anywhere because I live in Washington and they don't let you do anything online.
Yep.
Welcome to the chat, Brian. Brian's a great guy. He's on a Discord. He wants to know Lockett or Cordarrelle Patterson, considering Algiers is out.
I would go Patterson. You're looking at two offenses that are going to be like the Falcons offense is going to go through Pitts and Patterson today. And the Seahawks offense is going to go through Penny and Metcalf tomorrow as much as they can. So I didn't touch Tyler Lockett with a 10-foot pole during draft season, and I'm not touching him with a 10-foot pole until he shows me what he's going to do this year. So I would go Cordarrelle Patterson. Also, the problem with Patterson last year was that his wheels fell off. So that means you ride him until the wheels fall off.
And then
DFS. Pittman, Bateman.
Yeah, I need to know prices. They can't be the same price, can they?
Let's see. Let me pull FanDuel back up. Bateman on FanDuel is 6,100. Pittman, 7,200. So if it's on FanDuel, hold on, let me see. Let me see the wide receiver prices. I only made one lineup this week. Pittman's the 7th priciest wide receiver, and it looks like Bateman is below Michael Thomas, Devonta Smith, Adam Thielen. I mean, if you're trying to squeeze guys into your lineup, I would probably go Bateman. If you're trying to get the most upside, I would go Pittman. But Pittman's also $1,100 more. So,
Joe wants to know. Well, no, he says Bateman's likely to have Sauce Gardner all over him. Well, I don't want to hear that because I have Bateman in my big money league. So,
what does that mean? Do we know that Sauce Gardner is good at this point? Do we know that Derek Stingley is good at this point? I don't care if he has Sauce Gardner on him. Like, we don't know what that means. And even then, it takes Sauce Gardner, being off the field for 2 plays, and you can blow up. I think cornerback wide receiver matchups are way, 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 way overrated.
How come? Why?
Because wide receiver, really good wide receivers can beat really good cornerbacks, and it only takes one play for a really good wide receiver to do their thing. I forget who it was. I was Mike Evans last year against Chain Snatcher. Oh my God, I'm forgetting his name. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was off the field for like 2 or 3 plays, and Mike Evans had a 60-yard touchdown. So that's why I think they're overrated, because quarterbacks will go, oh, that guy's not on the field. Let me get my really damn good wide receiver involved. So I think that they're overrated.
All right, we'll see. We'll see what happens when everybody takes the field finally with all these rookies, because we no longer have a preseason. PPR, Nick Chubb or Antonio Gibson?
Sorry, I'm listening to my dogs wreak havoc downstairs. I might have to put them back outside.
PPR, okay. Chubb or Gibson?
Chubb.
I think that gambling on Cleveland having to run the ball a lot is better than gambling on Antonio Gibson suddenly figuring out how to be better than a special teamer.
Yeah, it's going to be close. It's going to be close, but I'm going to go Chubb over Gibson. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Gibson gets a 2 dump offs on the last drive to make Gibson go higher than Chubb. But if I had to figure out which guy was going to get 2 touchdowns, I would go Chubb over Gibson.
I would feel very poorly if Chubb flipped out on my bench. Whereas if Gibson flips out on my bench, I would feel good because now I have another weapon. That's fine.
Yes, I forgot about our axiom. Who would you feel better about flipping out on your bench? Yeah, I would feel much better about Gibson flipping out on my bench and Chubb disappointing than vice versa.
Oh, okay. Someone clarify, or sorry, not someone. Ready or Not clarifies that apparently it's 5,500 for Pittman in DFS and 5,300 for Bateman. So yeah, Pittman.
Oh, it's DraftKings? Then yeah, Pittman. That $200 difference is wild. Pittman could be a top 10 wide receiver this year.
Moving on, Drake London versus Chase Claypool.
Not Drake London. The answer will always be not Drake London today.
He could be injured and very
Yeah,
injured.
we don't know what's going on with the knee. People made a lot about George Pickens this offseason, but George Pickens was playing the Chase Claypool role because Chase Claypool was banged up. And think about what the highlights you saw were. It was him shoving a guy twice. I'm not in a points per shove league, so that doesn't do much for me.
What do you think about Cobb and Tanyan as plug and plays this week? I do not like Tanyan at all, personally. His data points, there's like one great game and then a bunch of mediocreness. That's not what I want from the blob. I want just solid floor.
Tunyon, I have him as my sub 10% tight end this week, but I don't feel good about it. Cobb, I don't feel good about. I mean, if we're talking about, I don't feel good about either of these guys in a plug and play. Tunyon, I would rather have let me pull up Yahoo really quick to see who's rostered around Big Bob Tunyon. Oh my God, the dogs are doing puppy time, Evan. It's going crazy. It's going crazy in my house.
Someone says,
Right.
well,
Sorry,
even with
I'm pulling up tight end rostership. Sorry, everybody.
and I'll talk to the chat. Without Lazard and Adams, I don't think that boosts up Tanyan because I think that Aaron Rodgers is just going to throw it to his running backs or throw it to his wide receivers like he always does, and they've got such a great running back room that I'm not sure Tanyan has a higher floor, which is what I'm going for from the blob.
So Tunyon is 23% rostered on Yahoo. I'd rather Gerald Everett at 26%. So that means Tunyon's gone up since I wrote about them. I'd rather Everett at 26%. I'd rather Ingram at 25% rostered. Let me see who's below 10%. Come on, Yahoo.
Joe points out Tanyan is touchdown or bust. Exactly.
Yeah, he's Dawson Knox. He's Dawson Knox. And we saw how that worked out for Dawson Knox. The Bills scored 31 points. Dawson Knox had 1 catch for 5 yards. Mo Alley Cox, I'd rather at 10% rostered. Logan Thomas. Oh, Logan Thomas is active. I'd rather, honestly, Logan Thomas than Big Bob Tunyon.
Everyone forgot about Logan Thomas.
Brevin Jordan, 2% rostered. I'd rather him than Big Bob Tunyon. Did I even write it? Now I'm wondering if I actually wrote about Tunyon. I might have jettisoned him when I saw the other.
No,
the other
I remember
guys.
reading about it.
Okay, yeah.
I might have read about it in our Discord. I don't know. Everything blurs together.
My for some reason my autofill what the hell?
Joe points
our website's freaking out, Evan.
Oh God.
If you go to footballabsurdity.com, it goes to your 2020 horror movie fantasy football team names.
That's what people want right now. 1 hour before kickoff.
That's exactly what they want. Oh my God. Why is it doing that? That's so funny.
Joe points out that Peterson's play calling tendency for tight end usage makes Ingram a reasonable start. I don't want to say good because he's Evan Ingram.
Yeah, so Doug Peterson, if you know one thing about him, you know he was the head coach of the Eagles when they had Goddard and Ertz getting, I believe, like a 50% target share, which was ridiculous for a couple of tight ends. So no, it's not that they got 50%. It's that they're the only team to get multiple sub 50% wide receiver target shares. But that all went to Goddard and Ertz. So yeah, Ingram could get that. It could also be Dan Arnold. Could also be that Evan Ingram gets plenty of opportunity, but he sucks because he's Evan Ingram, so he keeps dropping the damn football. So that's also a possibility.
That is fair. Are we fading Goddard this year because Hurts is going to need him to block?
No, he doesn't need him to block. The Eagles have like the best offensive line in the league. I'm not fading Goddard. I'm going out of my way to get Goddard.
He went for $11 in a 14-team big money league yesterday.
It's a good deal. I got him in the 6th round in the Scott Fishbowl, 6th or 7th, but that's tight end premium. So
Yahoo does not let you do tight end premium, so we are switching to Sleeper next year. Thank God.
Hey, I love Sleeper. My home league's talking about switching to Sleeper next year, which would be great because Yahoo is annoying.
Vikram TV, welcome back to the chat. They want to know, would you put Gage in the same place as London based on injury?
In the same place?
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
I mean, we're fading both of them, so yes.
I don't want to start either. I don't know where this Drake London came from. I don't know where this Drake London stuff came from, to be honest with you. If I have to pick one of them that has more upside, I would go with Drake London. But Drake London hurt his knee like 3 plays into the preseason. We didn't see him at all after that. It's week 1. You should not be needing to start Drake London this week. Like you should not be in that situation. Like there's no significant wide receiver injuries. And we have so many question marks about Drake London. You should not be in a position where you need to start Drake London this week. If Drake London pops off, good. If Drake London pops off on your bench, good. You can feel good about that going into next week. But this week, I'm not trusting it, especially against the Saints.
AK Magic says Hurts isn't very good at throwing and isn't Goddard like the third target on the team. Yes, but counterpoint, Goddard is really, really good. Like,
I'm going to put a blanket ban on this Hurts isn't good at throwing thing. It's such garbage. Like it's such nonsense. Like he had a bad completion percentage throwing to JJ Arcega-Whiteside and Jalen Reagor and Quez Watkins last year. Like whoopty freaking, can we cuss, Evan?
Yeah.
Whoopty freaking shit. Who cares? I don't care. Jalen Hurts is fine. Like people, what happens is when a player is really good at fantasy, we put him under this microscope. And every little thing that he does wrong, we act like is the worst thing in the world. Like, is Jalen Hurts the best passer in the universe? No. And I will give you that. But he's also like pretty damn good as a passer. Like he's not the worst passer in the universe. Like he's kind of middle of the pack, but everybody acts like he's like a bottom 8 passer. And like Gardner Minshew's going to take his job. Fuck that. That's garbage. I hate every time somebody says Gardner Minshew is going to take Jalen Hurts' job, I immediately just zone out on whatever it is they're saying. He was 10th in deep ball accuracy rating last year. He was 13th in red zone accuracy rating. He was 11th in deep ball catch rate. Like he can throw the football. The problem is you get to catchable pass rate. So this is the problem. So when you get a quarterback like Jalen Hurts, okay, think about if the play breaks down what Jalen Hurts is going to do versus if the play breaks down what Tom Brady is going to do. Jalen Hurts is going to run. Tom Brady is going to dump it off to Leonard Fournette. Those are easy passes that Jalen Hurts doesn't get, which brings down his overall completion percentage because he's running instead. This is something I've been saying for years for running quarterbacks is they don't get the cheapies like every other quarterback gets. So they look a lot worse. So this idea that he can't throw the football is way, way, way overblown.
And yes, you can. Thank you for that opine. That was awesome. You can swear now. I said it so people have to accept this has mature language when they go to this channel because, well, Waleed. So anyway, they want to know Hollywood versus Higgins.
Higgins. Find somebody else to bench other than Hollywood.
Yeah, that's going to be a shootout. And I mean, Kyler Murray has a brand new toy. Like he's not going to shelve it under the Christmas tree. He's going to pick it out and play with it.
Yeah. Sorry. Now my brother-in-law is asking me who to start.
Get your family on the chat.
Tony Pollard or MVS, and it's an easy Tony Pollard. But he's a Cowboys fan. He's making sure he's not being biased.
No. MVS, we don't know yet. And probably the answer is nobody on Kansas City because that's what how does this guy Patrick Mahomes does.
Well, also they said that it's going to it could be 4 or 5 guys.
Yeah, it probably will be because Patrick Mahomes is good at getting through reads. Uh, and this is a weird one because I'm actually starting both of these as my wide receivers in my big money league. Bateman versus Hollywood.
You're starting both of them?
Yep, 14-team league.
Oh, they're not on the same team anymore. Sorry, my
Yes.
brain turned off for a second.
Yes.
I was like, you're starting 2 Ravens wide receivers?
No, that's
Um,
crazy.
I would say Hollywood. The Chiefs lost Travarius Ward, so their defense is probably not going to be as good. The Jets were kind of middle of the pack last year, so it's a coin flip, but I'll go with Hollywood.
Also, who's going to have a shootout more likely? The Chiefs versus Arizona or Baltimore versus the Jets? Baltimore's going to get up 10 points and just sit on it. Like,
If I had to pick a game that ends 13-12, I would go Jets Baltimore.
Yeah. So Hollywood's is going to get some deep targets today. You are welcome, Brian. And Serpent's Return says, tell your relatives to tune in and sub with 30% off because it's September and user prize. I love Serpent's Return. That's Hank Hill in our Discord, one of our most cherished members. Thank you for the shout out there.
I'll tell my sister, you're getting roasted in the Twitch chat. FYI. Okay.
So
there we go. All right. Who else do we got? We got 20 minutes.
We are caught up for now. So while we wait for more questions to roll in, I'm going to say some people that Wally's over the moon at, and I want to know Jeff's opinion because you all in chat probably have been listening to Jeff or whatever, but in this company, his departments don't overlap with mine much. So I haven't been able to check in and get his opinion on
that's true.
Ramondre Stevenson. Wally loves him.
I think that Ramondre Stevenson will be very good in the second half of the year. I just think that the problem is you're looking at like splitting too many touches with Damian Harris, and I don't think he's going to get as many targets as people think. But I like taking him just in case I'm wrong because I really believe in Ramondre Stevenson, the player. I was kind of on an island on that last year when they drafted him.
Okay.
I also have trouble believing in this Patriots offense, which is a problem for his upside.
Well, I've got to do something for my son.
Okay, give me another guy real quick, and I'll vamp. Give me another guy real quick and then I'll vamp.
Oh God, who's Wally even talking about? Cole Kmet.
Cole Kmet. Okay, so Cole Kmet. Are the Bears going to be very good? Probably not.
Yeah, just the Bears in general. I want to hear what you say.
Yeah, so the Bears probably aren't going to be very good. But here's the thing. With a tight end, especially a tight end in the blob like Cole Kmet is, if you can get a guy who's probably walking into 125 targets, that's a guy that you want to have on your fantasy team. So that's like 7.5 targets per game. Because who is that wide receiver room? You've got Darnell Mooney, then you've got N'Keal Harry who's hurt, Velus Jones who's hurt. So then what? You're looking at Byron Pringle, Equanimeous St. Brown, and Dante Pettis. Like, just based on pure volume alone, Cole Kmet's gonna eat this year. He's gonna be a top. I feel weird talking about top 8 blank tight end because so much of it is touchdowns, and touchdowns are fluky week to week, and I would say probably top 8 tight end though. He has that upside. Let me ask you this, Evan. Since you seem to be, are you back?
I am back.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Aaron Jones and Cole Kmet for Gerald Everett. I'm sorry. Aaron Jones and Aaron Jones and Gerald Everett for AJ Brown and Cole Kmet. Which side would you want?
Who was with Everett?
Come on. I only botched it like 3 times. Cole Kmet and AJ Brown.
Yeah.
Or Aaron Jones and Gerald Everett.
Oh God, I gotta go with Jones, even though Cole Kmet's like an actual tight end in fantasy, and Gerald Everett isn't. But give me that first round running back. First round. This is me talking like I do snake drafts.
Let's go. All right. Breaking news. Per Jay Glazer, Mike Tomlin wants Kenny Pickett to sit all year.
So
The hell?
my Mitchell Trubisky shares are excited, I guess.
How can you make Mike Tomlin's not made a decision about anything past week one? That's not how you coach. Like you just play
That's
the game and win it, and then get to the next week.
that's how Mike Tomlin coaches. That's what Dr. House taught him.
Okay, so catching up with the questions. PPR: Bateman versus Gibson.
God.
Gibson has a better shot at a touchdown. We're getting a lot of Bateman questions. I'll go
Yep.
Gibson.
Jacksonville's not good.
They're better than you think. They're like middle of the pack, but so
I
are the
think
Jets.
they're the worst, so that's not really this damning with fake
Yeah.
praise. Also, a good a quarterback question. Thank you. We haven't had much of these today. Dak versus Cousins.
Dak. The Green Bay defense is going to carry the team this year, I think. Tampa Bay is good, but but Dak versus Cousins, I will side with the better player, which is Dak. Though, I would not be surprised if Kirk Cousins goes off. I'm not saying Cousins is bad. They're both good plays this week.
Nice. And what else? What else has Waleed been telling me? Chicago just in general, because I hang out my hunts are the Discord and podcast with Waleed, so it's all Chicago stuff.
It's all Chicago.
Yeah. Oh, AK Magic wants to know who's going to win MVP and why is it Tua?
It's going to be Justin Herbert.
God damn it. Not.
Justin Herbert's going to win MVP because he's going to throw like 45 touchdowns, and the Chargers are going to go 14-3 and win the AFC West. Nah, 13-4. They're going to win the AFC West.
Yes. I agree with Herbert. Tua, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just don't know.
No, it's going to on the podcast. On the Patreon podcast, we planted our flags, and I went all in on the Chargers.
Oh yeah, who else did you plant your flag in or on?
Let me see.
Because Wally went
This
all
is
on
how
the
you-
Bears and left no commentary, as I recall.
Yeah, Wally just dropped the Bears in there and just left. Let's see. This is how you know I feel good about him. Because I can't remember him off the top of my head. Can you guess my wide receiver? It's the same wide receiver that I always talk about all the time.
Brandon Ayuk.
Brandon Cooks.
Oh, that's right.
Brandon just Cooks. 134 targets last year, career high. I don't believe in Nico Collins as much as a lot of people do. I think he's good, but not as good as people think. Don't believe in Brevin Jordan as much as a lot of other people. Who else is getting targets? Dameon Pierce doesn't get targets. It's going to be, Brandon Cooks is looking at another 130 targets if he stays healthy. Quarterback, Jalen Hurts. I believe in Jalen Hurts. I had him top 5 before anybody else did. People got super spicy, ended up having him like top 4, top 3. I couldn't break that threshold of Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and Josh Allen. I couldn't break that threshold, but 5, I feel really good about him. Melvin Gordon. That was just because if you look at the like per carry stats last year, like rushing yards over expectation, yards created per touch, all these different statistics, per carry statistics, he wasn't that different from Javonte. And he was a like 40, 45, 50 pick discount from Javonte Williams. If that might be low, actually. Let me see. Let me look up 4-for-4 ADP real quick. My buddy once told me the difference between experts and amateurs in fantasy is experts know exactly where to look. Because he would ask a question, I'd be like, hold on, let me pull that up. So let's see. Melvin Gordon was 104 and Javonte was 25. So you're looking at almost 80 picks discount. Then my tight end, Gerald Everett. Gerald Everett and Jared Cook. If you've heard the podcast, you can zone out for a couple seconds. Gerald Everett and Jared Cook had the same top line stats last year, but Jared Cook was top 15 in all opportunity statistics. So you're looking at like air yards and targets. And Gerald Everett was outside the top 20 in those stats. And Gerald Everett is jumping into the Jared Cook role. And Gerald Everett had the number 1 juke rate among tight ends last year and was top 3 in contested catch rate and true catch rate, which leads me to believe that, he's, if you had to pick a guy who comes out of nowhere to score 10 touchdowns, I would pick Gerald Everett this year.
And the chat wants to know what scandal were the Commanders get into to make everyone hate Dan Snyder even more.
He put out the hit on Brian Robinson.
Yeah. Good answer. Because I was like, well, we already had sex and we had racism. What completes the what's the triumvirate here?
Well, I mean, if we're being truthful to what it could be, it's probably that Dan Snyder, because they're in Washington, is in and around a lot of let's just say illicit lobbying and influence peddling with our dear elected leaders. I'm saying that oh God, what was his name? The guy in the wheelchair, Madison Cawthorn, saying that maybe Dan Snyder's at these Coke sex parties that Madison Cawthorn was talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope that was the first time somebody like they clicked into the stream and it was like Madison Cawthorn Coke sex parties starter sit. Yeah. So those were my flag plants: Hertz, Gordon, Cooks, and Everett.
How about boy? A lot of people are asking about starting Mooney in the Discord. And don't start Mooney.
I would not trust it.
More like Monsoony.
Folks, I'm gonna change my my Twitter @ to Daryl Monsoony.
All right. What else? Chicago's got a mudstorm or whatever it's called. Let's see. What else? What else is in the news today?
Folks, you seen this? You heard about this? More like Darnell Monsoony. Got him. Let's see. All right, let me check the start sit thread on Something Awful. Let's see what Something Awful has to say.
Okay.
On this, the 21st anniversary of Watch Bush Start a Fucking War.
Oh yeah.
Something else happened that day. I don't remember. Let's see. Start sit. Only sit your studs for Isaiah Pacheco. That's right. Scroll. Christian Kirk or Chris Godwin, full PPR.
Not starting Godwin.
Christian Kirk, easy. Christian Kirk. Actually, I don't want to do the. Oh, here's a question that I can. 0.5 PPR. Bad weather in Chicago. Do I bench Debo for Hunter Renfrow? No.
What the hell?
Next question. Debo Samuel is like the one guy that they manufacture passes for.
Yeah.
And by manufacture passes, I mean the little pop passes for him to get the ball going with some momentum.
I'll check the Discord then. Dotson versus Burks.
Burks, I guess.
Yeah,
We don't know what that. Again, this is a situation where we don't know. There's
Yeah.
so much that we don't know right now that I'm not leaning into Jahan Dotson, who could be the number. Let's be honest here. Jahan Dotson could be the number 4 target today. Like, we don't know that. Terry McLaurin, Antonio Gibson, J.D. McKissick, Jahan Dotson. Or Terry McLaurin, J.D. McKissick, Logan Thomas, Antonio Gibson, Jahan Dotson. Or Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, the running backs, Jahan Dotson.
And that brings up a point that, well, I guess no one can use this because everyone's drafts is over, but just tuck this in for next year. Don't draft rookie wide receivers planning to play them week 1.
Yeah, that's been the take today is like we don't know. Like we don't know about Drake London. We don't know about Jahan Dotson. We don't know about Treylon Burks. We don't know. Like nobody's even asked about Garrett Wilson. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
Nobody's even asked. And Garrett Wilson could go off. Like we don't know yet. Like week one is playing it safe, no glory plays, and you're collecting information. Okay. And I guess I'll talk about what information that you want to find. You want to find routes per drop back. So that means they're out there. Like even if they're getting like 2 targets, if they're running routes on every play, chances are the targets are going to come. You're looking at, if they do get targets, you're looking at air yards. You're looking at average depths of target. You're looking at catchable pass rate. You're looking at what kind of targets they're getting. Obviously, if a guy gets 7 or 8 targets, that all goes out the window. But I'm talking about like if Jahan Dotson comes out and gets like 5 targets, but he gets 5 targets with like 180 air yards, you're like, okay, that's the role he's going to play. He's going to be the deep threat guy. So that's a bit of information for you to collect today. Today's a fact-finding mission. You start your studs. If you're wrong, you're wrong, but you're just guessing. We're all guessing. We don't have any data points to work with. We have one data point, and it's Bills Rams, and none of that will help you today. Everything else is just guessing. So you got to go with the guessing that has the highest chance of coming through for you, which is not rookie wide receivers.
Right,
here,
Pat,
really quick. Hold on.
Oh.
Hold on one sec. Let me draw something up. This is something that I like to talk about. It's the zone of correctness. This is why you don't start why you don't sit your studs. So I have my whiteboard here. So you have fantasy points. All right, so you have fantasy points, and you have fantasy points right here, and you have. I don't know if this is backwards in the stream, but you have what a stud is likely to get you right here. Okay, so this is their likely range of points outcome. Okay, so then you get a sleeper, which I'm going to change colors for the sleeper. So you've got a sleeper here. Okay, so you've got a sleeper. We'll say this is 0 points. If I can turn this around. All right, so this is an audiovisual medium. So you've got the number of points a stud is likely to get you. Okay, it's here. Number of points a sleeper is likely to get you is here. For you to, I don't even know if I'm coming up on mic, but for you to feel good about starting a sleeper over a stud, this is the zone you're working with. Okay, the overlap of the low end of what a stud gets you and the high end of what a sleeper gets you. So right now, when you're looking at rookie wide receivers, you're looking at sleepers. They're all sleepers right now. We don't know what they're going to be. So they're all, by definition, sleepers. They're all asleep. We don't have a Justin Jefferson in this class who started off slow. We don't have a Jamar Chase in this class who believe also started off slow. So you're looking at a bunch of rookie wide receivers that we don't know what they're going to do. And for you to bench a rookie wide receiver, or for you to play rookie wide receiver over a guy that we have a good idea of what he's going to do, is like, it might work out for you. I'm not saying it's not going to work out for you. There are what were there, 7 first round wide receivers this year? There were a lot. Chances are one of them is going to work out today. But can you tell me which one? I'm saying this for all the rookie wide receivers, knowing that I'm going to be wrong about 1 or 2 of them, but I just don't know which 1 or 2 I'm going to be wrong about. So that's why I'm rolling with anybody except for, well, not anybody. Rolling for a lot of people except for rookie wide receivers.
Woods versus New York Giants or Ayuk versus Chicago?
I don't want to start any receiving weapons except for Debo in the monsoon game, so I'll go with Robert Woods.
Yeah. It's a monsoon. All right. Have you been watching the stream, Jeff?
No, because I have my because I switched my setup in my office, so my TV that I usually watch the stream on is my second monitor for this.
Okay.
Yeah, because I figured this background was a lot more interesting than my closet, so I rotated where I sit on my desk for the streams.
Thank you for that question, Bad Karma. So just to summarize, if you just turned to new, there is a monsoon in Chicago and San Francisco. Sit your not studs. Start your running backs. Khalil Herbert might be a sneaky play.
I would feel worse about Trey Lance today, but I would probably still start him as a back-end QB1 because he's going to run the ball a lot.
Yeah, and that's why you start drafting him anyway.
Yeah. I'm trying to find cool stuff around my desk to show people. It was on sale. Best Buy. Let's go. Quantum Leap full series Blu-ray. Let's see, what else do I have? I have so I have an action movie podcast that's been on hiatus for a year that we're probably going back to pretty soon. But the first movies we did were the Fast and Furious movies. So I have a Dom Toretto Lego Charger here. I'm just trying to vamp while we get more questions. Do we have more questions?
We don't.
Okay.
Well, someone in the Discord said, "Hey, Evan, you're leaning Mooney over Bateman," and I'm like, "No, what? How did you?
What? Who's leaning Mooney over
I
Bateman?
literally just posted Darnell Monsooni. I don't understand. That's
Yeah.
like a mud bowl.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Oh, maybe we'll get the ball sticking into the mud again. Actually, I don't know what kind of turf Chicago has.
Soldier Field, isn't that natural?
Let's see. Probably, I would guess.
Yeah.
Oh no! They installed new turf 2 days ago.
Oh Jesus.
Oh no! Grounds crew are preparing for Sunday's home opener. Bermuda grass instead of Kentucky bluegrass. Oh boy! I remember the Niners had big trouble when they first opened Levi's with the turf. Oh man. Oh man.
So Jeff in our Twitch chat asks Bermuda grass or Kentucky bluegrass?
Hold on. I can answer that question.
Nice.
But I need to look something up really quick.
Of course. And AK Magic does say pray for knees and joints. Yeah, especially in Chicago where that shit's gonna be hard.
Oh man. Bermuda. No, not Bermuda. The other one, Kentucky bluegrass. Because I just remember the Ravens used one of them, and on their practice field, and it was all dead because it kind of goes dormant if it does get a ton of sun. So it looks horrible.
What the hell? That's a trade question. Pick 1.5 PPR. Fatty McFats says, Fatty McFats and I had our annual big money league yesterday, and as always, it ended with him and I kicking each other in the nuts repeatedly because we always sit on our cash till the end, and then we beat up each other. So it's either you get a guy that you have to massively overpay for, or now you're not big bank anymore, or whatever. They want to know half PPR. Devontae Smith, Sky Moore, George Puckins.
George who?
Puckins.
Puckins. Devontae Smith who or George Puckins?
Sky Moore. I go with the one that's not a rookie, frankly.
Yeah, especially the one that's not a rookie that kind of knows what his spot's going to be. Evan, I need to get a Twitter post to you because I need the people to see this.
How?
I don't know how to share my. Can I share my screen? Is there anything that I can do?
I can. What can I do?
All right, here I'll just do this. Go to Michelle Steele on Twitter. 1 L in Michelle, and Steele is spelled Steele. She just posted a thing at 8:12 a.m. of her walking on Soldier Field. There are puddles. The water is pooling at Soldier Field right now. And there's a guy sweeping the water off. Like, this is going to be a disaster. Oh boy, this game is going to be a nightmare.
I can't. There are a lot of political candidates named Michelle Steele, which is making it hard to Google this.
1L. It's on Twitter. Oh, you know what? It's 9:55. I think it's time that we call it so that I can everybody can stop making their last second. So last second ones. Any last second starter sits?
Last second starter sits. Get them in now. Chad agrees with Devonta. And then we're all going to watch the games at the sports book.
Yeah. Oh, dude, real quick, the story. So I'm in Sacramento for people who don't know. You can see I have some Kings stuff. Those are Kings bobbleheads. Unfortunate Kings fan. But for my my bachelor party, we went to Tahoe. We went to South Lake Tahoe, and we for the AFC and NFC championship games. So we could bet at the sports book and stuff. And we went a little too hard on Saturday, and on Sunday we were in a sports book for all day because we watched both games, and not one drop of alcohol was consumed that day because we were all so messed up from the night before. So yeah, fun times.
All right, Trey Lance or Jimmy G? Wait, what?
What? Trey Lance? Get out of here! Who said that? They're banned.
Love, they're just joking. They say Jordan Love or Aaron Rodgers. There you go.
Jordan Love. Even though I'm wearing my Lance jersey, I can pull out my Garoppolo jersey if people would like. Or I have a Garoppolo bobblehead back here. Hold on. Niners giveaways. I didn't get the Joe Staley one last or in 2020, but here's my Garoppolo bobblehead still in the box. So here's the George Kittle one. I have a lot of BS on my desk. Also, most of the Niners stuff in my background was free. Niners giveaways.
Awesome.
For being for going to the games or being a season ticket holder.
All right,
So.
we are going to thank you all, everybody in the chat. Thank you, Jeff. We are going to raid Fantasy Football Addicts. Good luck,
Let's
everybody.
go.
Talk to you
Let's
in the
go.
Discord.
Thanks for watching. See you next. Or I won't be here next weekend, but Evan will be back.
Yeah, Waleed probably, or Walker.
Walker's going to do it.
Okay,
Walker.
perfect.
I already talked to them about it.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah. Good luck.
And we are off the air.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right. Thanks, Evan. This went really well for a first time
I
thing.
did a new thing where I put the questions on the screen that people really seem to like.